Thank you so much for your lovely talk, Jane. I'm glad you got your braces and your teeth are going to be straight again.
Yes.
I hope it didn't hurt too much when you got the stitches.
Nah. They deaden it.
Oh, they're good. Yeah. So, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. What a great honor to be here with you. It's really nice to sit with I just think, like, I have these questions about life. Like, there's one version which is, what am I? There's another version which is like, what the fuck is going on? Like that. And I was so lucky, like many years ago, I stumbled into a place where other people couldn't seem to let go of this question either. Like, what am I? What the fuck is going on? And I think it's so incredible and so much grace that I have been able to find a group of people that are willing to sit around and just be with that question with me. So thank you for being here, because most of the time, I'm going to go as far as to say that before practice, much of my life was just an active quest to push that question away. Right? How can I not be in the presence of that question? And true freedom, I think, is to be able to be in the presence of the question and be so comfortable with not knowing that I can pick myself up off the sidewalk and go in and spit my blood in the sink and go to the hospital and wonder later whether maybe I should have cried. I wasn't there, but when Zen Master Seungsong, who's the Korean monk, who's the founder of our tradition, came to the United States, his English was not so good. And he was in Providence, Rhode Island, and had a group of students around him, and then somebody would say, or somehow or another, he would be invited to give a talk somewhere, and they would all pile in the car together, and they'd get there and be some sort of a room like this, probably more like a church or something like that. And then they would get there, and then they'd go to sit down, and he would say to some person who'd been practicing like 3 or 4 weeks, like, "You give talk." Because because he couldn't speak so much, so you give talk. And the person would be like, "Oh." So you did great, Jane. You weren't even like that. And then he would answer the question. So I always say, like, the person who really can talk gives the talk, and then there's the guy who can't really talk, who answers the question. So, does anybody have any questions? Charlie.
Sure, let me ask a question. Because when you fall down and you're not practiced with that question, for those who haven't practiced with that question, and when they fall down and the realization is, what do I do now? The importance is really the realization. And sometimes it seems to me that the verbalizing the question actually pushes that away, that experience of people think, okay, so I've got this question, what's the answer? And then you really push the answer farther away.
So,
Can you comment?
I will ask that you repeat what people are saying so that people want to hear.
Yeah, I will. Charlie.
Just if you're
Sure, Charlie. I think if I'm understanding correctly, you're like, life is happening, this moment, this moment, this moment, and somehow I think you're saying that if you go, what was that? What was that? What was that? You're actually pushing that and that and that away, right? Okay. Okay, so I have a question for you. Please, can you push that away?
You want me to push it away?
Yes. So,
What is that?
so, well, I ask you, what is that? What is that? Thank you. Push it away now. Oh, you, Charlie, you had it and you stopped yourself. Push it away, please. Thanks. Okay, so if you watch carefully, then if you hear this and then you go, what is that? Then what you experience is this, and then you experience yourself saying, what is that? So saying, so that's just a different, slightly different experience. There's this experience, and then there's the this and what is that experience. So I can't find pushing away in that.
Thank you.
There's another way I could answer is, so if you hear this, and then you say, what is that? That's pushing it away. If you said that, asked me that question, I would say, Charlie, you just pushed it away. That means there's a way in which we are, kind of thinking about our experience and trying to contain it. And is this it? Oh, no, this is not it. Is this it? Oh, no, this is not it. Oh, is this it? What if I suppress that question, because it basically, speaking of freedom of no choice, either the question, what was that, appears or it doesn't appear, like where's the choice in it coming up, right? So then you'd be like, but wait, when I said, what is that? Did I push my experience away or not? Oh, you just said, what is that? Right? So there's this way in which we keep trying to, just keep trying to, it's like it's something, a different kind of hamster wheel where we're trying to catch up with our experience, but we're always, in describing our experience, we're always a number of seconds behind, if there is a behind. So here we are, Charlie.
Thank you.
Another question?
I have a question.
Thank you, Jane.
I've been thinking about, we're thinking of having like an introductory class for people who don't know anything about Zen Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll come.
Okay. Yeah, the ones who don't know have to teach it.
Oh, excellent.
But enlightenment is a big deal. You get enlightenment, and people know, that's a thing.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure, people who want to know about Zen Buddhism are going to maybe wonder about enlightenment. And I'm thinking, what would you say to somebody who's like, what is this enlightenment that the Zen Buddhists keep talking about? What would you tell them?
What would I do?
Yeah, what would you tell them?
What is enlightenment?
I mean, this is somebody who knows nothing and has no...
Where's the light switch, Jane?
Way over there.
Can you go?
Turn it off?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Could you turn it back on? Thank you for your teaching. It's enlightenment is a funny word, and we don't really truck in it so much in our school. We don't talk about it very much. Wanting enlightenment is a big mistake. That's the name of a book by my teacher, but Zen Master Sung Sung used to say that. Yes, the thing about it is that can you hear the sound of that projector? And what color is the floor?
Yellowish brown.
Hmm. And Judy's face is nice.
Has glasses on it.
Uh-huh. I don't know, I've been practicing a long time, but I don't know where I could find anything else. So, the best I can think of is if a student asks about, just in this moment, the best I can think of is if a student asks what's enlightenment, is all that I've said and then just this. Can you trust that? If you can, like that's the freedom of no choice also, right? Just like, here it is. Also, by the way, also including here it is also includes Christ. What is enlightenment? No, he said the floor is brown and Judy has a nice face and turned on and off the lights, but yeah, what is enlightenment, right? Also truth, right? Our minds keep going, right? Even though we have an answer, our minds keep going. Also truth. So Buddha said the first noble truth, life is dukkha, right? Some people call it, sometimes dukkha is translated as suffering, sometimes dissatisfaction, sometimes just kind of not quite aligned, like a wheel that goes ta-dum, ta-dum, right? Not just quite working. Not just kind of quite working means not quite just trusting that this is, here it is. We don't talk much about awe and joy, but I notice, and it could be a brain tumor, that I'm experiencing a lot of it lately. And I think it's because of just not looking for any more. She's, I'm sure Bobby Rhodes, Zen Master Sung Young, who's the guiding Zen master of our whole school, I'm sure she said this, but I say it to people all the time, like, what more could you want? You already have the sun, the moon, the stars, the ocean, the mountains, each other. Just, you could say it's all coming in through your eyes, ears, nose, touch, and objects of consciousness. You could say that, but in my experience, I can't even experience that. It's just, I'm not be like, it's coming in through my eyes, it's coming in through my ears. So we're always going like this, right? At this moment, all time, all space, all things just shrink to this moment. No time for a thought, no time for a description, nothing, just everything, boom. Including thoughts of the sun, the moon, the stars. Everything's here right now, right? It's all here. Already we have everything, right? So if you have everything, I'll ask you, Claire, if you have everything, then what? Only that? Okay, but let me take it a little further. Everything you could ever possibly want, you have, right? And you feel it, and you know it. Then what would you do? Yeah. How can I help? there's nothing left. It's glorious. My daughter is, this is, anybody, who's parents? Okay. So my daughter, my daughter, who has or has had teenagers? Oh, okay. Because whenever the parents of toddlers complain, I'd be like, oh boy, that's nothing. Change your identity. When parents of toddlers, I say, change your identity quick. Because Bella, my daughter, she had a really hard time. And then she's great now. But yesterday, those of you with teenagers will love this. Yesterday, she texted me like, it goes ding, and then, oh, it's from Bella. So she's 19, so it's from Bella. It could be like, I crashed my car. It could be, can you loan me $1,000? But what it actually said was, Dad, I'm so happy. Yeah. And she said, I said, tell me all about it. And then she started to change the subject. I said, honey, it's just as important to talk about when you're happy as when you're sad, right? So tell me, I want to know, tell me. So she said, I just feel like I'm killing it. I'm killing it in my job. I'm killing it. You know, I take my dog for a walk every day. I'm killing it as a dog owner. I'm just killing it. I was like, you're killing it at killing it. And then I said to her, I said, you know, you're seeing life through the eyes of killing it right now. She was like, yes, with an exclamation point. That's another, like, first your kid goes, I'm happy. First your kid actually agrees with something you say. I'm not sure which one's better. So I said, you're seeing your life through the eyes of I'm killing it. Except, and then I said, you can always choose to see life through the eyes of I'm killing it. It's just, that's a little bit like painting legs on a snake. We wouldn't really say that in Zen, but you can always come back here. Right? Here is before thinking. Before thinking means no choice. No choice means, how help. And not like a martyr, because you already have everything. Any other questions? Hi.
How, I mean, I guess you just do it, but how do you do that when there's so incredibly much suffering going on in this world?
Mm.
It's like, I can help, I'm helping, Jane asked me if I would be kitchen master for the retreat, and that's helping because I'm doing that, so I can get the stove in the morning to turn on when I have a meal. But, I mean, with climate change, with wars, it's like, it's sometimes, I don't know, it just seems kind of hopeless. It's like, why bother? Because I can help in this little way, but that's only a drop in the bucket compared to all the devastation and destruction going on.
Oh, sorry, what's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. We met before. You were driving with, were you with your daughter?
That was my 23-year-old daughter in car.
Yeah, with your daughter. Yeah.
Who does sometimes ask for that?
Sometimes you're lucky. Yeah. So what you're saying, tell me if I've got this right, Jennifer. Oh, sorry to the Zoom people. Jennifer was basically saying, you know, the world's screwed, so how does being kitchen master actually help? More or less?
I mean, it helps on a small scale, but I'm not helping
Right.
the screwedness of the world.
Okay, so I tell you the whole world is suffering, right? Then what for you? What happens?
So, no,
Yeah, and feel?
sad.
Okay. So you feel sad. Jane says, can you be kitchen master? You be kitchen master. But still the world is suffering. How do you feel?
A little bit worried about making up my own rides.
And
My knees feel a little bit better when I get up off the cushion.
but also the world is still suffering, so so how do you feel?
Still sad about that.
Oh. So see,
It depends what I'm thinking about. If I'm not thinking about it, then I'm not sad at that particular moment.
so I think, Jennifer, that you go, at this moment, the world is suffering, I feel sad. And Jane asked me to do kitchen master, right? And I understand how that helps in that moment, but I still feel sad. And I think that what you're asking me, why are you laughing? I think that what you're asking me is there a way I could be kitchen master and would not have to feel sad about the world?
I'm asking why bother? Because we're not gonna
Because why not bother?
because we're not gonna fix climate change.
Yeah, but
I mean,
Jennifer,
I do what I can, but
Jennifer, it's about following your nature. Who are you? What are you? When you hear about climate change, then what? Sad, right?
try to use less plastic.
Cry, use less plastic, right? And you and me are so lucky we get to be our true selves. And we don't know what comes after. We don't know. So great sadness appears. How may I help you? Right? But the great sadness doesn't go away. It would be like, to me, what happens if I really watch myself, I go, why bother? But the real reason why I'm saying why bother is because I'm looking for the thing that will make me not feel sad. Like on some level, the why bother is just like, well, this is not pushing the sadness away. How do I push the sadness? Give me a way to push the sadness away. But what I said before, you're sad. Can you trust that? From your sadness about the world, can you move forward in the world? And in this moment, make the rice and the oatmeal, right? In the next moment, be careful about plastic. In the next moment, go on a march. But just see, hear, taste, touch, smell, respond appropriately, right? That includes also sadness. I feel sad, right? Trust the sadness, and the sadness will deliver you to the next right thing in the face of the world. It's okay. Feeling sad, pay attention. If I feel sad, I say, what is this? Right? So I watch. It's this kind of uncomfortable, heavy feeling right here. Oh, a little pressure behind my eyes, like I want to cry, right? Oh, maybe my breath goes a bit shallow. Tightness in my diaphragm. Ugh. Wait, that's it? That's all I'm dealing with here? That means there's another version. That's another version of saying, I return to my center. My center is right here. What's happening right now, that's my center, right? Not my thoughts about what's happening, but what's actually happening. I have these sensations in my body, and I can abide them, right? And now I can do what's in front of me. And in front of me may include going on a march. It doesn't mean only be kitchen master. Okay? There's some way in which no stories are true. So, and yet we tell stories. And it's like saying, everything is this, so why do you speak? Right? For you, right? Why? Because no stories are true, and yet stories create things. They move things, right? So sometimes we can see all the suffering in the world, right? But it's really important also to watch carefully so that we can also tell ourselves stories about all the kindness in the world. Because telling me, in my experience, telling myself stories of all the kindness in the world gives me the energy to help myself deal with the stories about all the sadness in the world. Like one time, years ago, I was walking through the lobby of my building and there were 2 easy chairs. And in the 2 easy chairs, sitting right next to each other, there was the FedEx man and the UPS man, and they were sitting there joking around. Like, what the fuck? Weren't they supposed to be fighting? Yeah. So sometimes thinking medicine, for thinking disease, thinking medicine, right? Yeah. See, I can be happy because you're going to make the rice and oatmeal. I'll tell a Christian story. I heard this the other day. It's a parable. It's a parable of the vintner, which means somebody that has a vineyard. You heard it first here. So the vintner all the grapes have to be picked like today. Like today's the day. They're perfectly ripe, perfectly sugar, all that kind of stuff. So goes to the market and says, hey, you workers come back to my vineyard, pick grapes, I'll pay at the end of the day. So they come and they're picking grapes, and around about 9 o'clock in the morning, he's like, eesh, they're good, but this is not going to get the job done, I better go back. So he goes back to the market and he said, you guys, come here, come pick grapes and I'll pay at the end of the day. Same thing happens at 12 o'clock. Yikes, we're not getting this done. So he goes back to the market, gets more people. Same thing happens at 3 o'clock, goes back to the market, gets more people. Finally, at 6 o'clock, the day is over, the grapes are picked. He's like, oh, great. Sets to his foreman, pay everybody, give everybody 1 denarius, I think. Maybe Stan knows.
Denarius.
Thank you, Stan. So he goes and the foreman goes and pays everybody. And the people that are there all have been there since the morning, like, what the hell is going on? Why are you giving them the same as me, right? And he says, I changed the story a little bit, but like 100% grace, right? I give 100% grace to everybody, right? 100% grace, right? That means Enlightenment already appeared. Even before, that's not fair. We've been sitting 30 years, right, Jane? but everybody else already has it too. So that means, to me, a little bit like, how may I help you, right? You have it, I already have it 100%, so how may I help you? But you already have it 100% too, so no need to help, so party. To me, that's like not an ultimate truth, but there's something there to me. Right? There's something, everything is already complete, including whether I helped you, including suffering. Like, that doesn't mean we have to understand, right? He said, the world is suffering, and Colin said, everything's already complete. Like, what the hell? So that's not really something that's able to be contained in words, but everything is, at least here, everything is complete. Why? Because here, let me see. Charlie, I'll pick on you. Make that different. Thank you. Right? You can't make it different. So it must be complete. Right? It's complete. So, but incomplete includes sadness, so I'll help, right? But it also means that is never going to be changed. Or it means that is changing at an infinite pace. You choose, right? But it means no choice. No choice means party. Party means I can't control it, I can just do it. Another question?
I have another question, since nobody else had one.
Okay.
So you told us a parable.
Since no one else is saying that they have one.
So you told us a parable from the New Testament, of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite Zen story? Do you have a favorite Zen story?
Oh, for today, I like this. I brought this for you guys. I do really like this. And this is number 205. This is our Kangan book. It's a book of Zen stories that was put together by Zen Master Sung Sung and then edited by other people. And then, but they all have questions, right? This is one of our practices in our tradition where we have the teacher tells you a story and then asks you questions about it and helps you to arrive at not knowing, right? So this is number 205. Where is the true Zen master? By the way, this story to me has the same teaching point as the parable that I just told you. Zen Master Hyongbong once said to a group of students, front and back, right and left, everywhere is the true master. If you look for your true master, you will never find it, and you will never get out of the ocean of suffering. I mean, as soon as you try to find something else, like we were talking about, you're done for. That is, trying to find something else is the ocean of suffering. So, but he says, I have a ship, Great Hope, with no bottom. Then he says, everybody board this ship and then you can get out of this ocean. All aboard, hurry up, hurry up. And he hits the table with his Zen stick and he says this poem. 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps, don't check around, only go straight. When water and mountain disappear, your original home already appears. It's a very beautiful point. When water and mountain disappears, your original home already appears. It means, shh. Commentary. Wake up from your dream. What do you see now? What do you hear now? The mountain is blue, the water is flowing. In Mahayana Buddhism, there's this idea that at a certain stage in your development, certain characteristics will appear, the characteristics of the bodhisattva. These are called the paramitas, or the perfections. They include generosity, resilience, absorption, right? These characteristics will appear. Those characteristics appear when we stop naming things. When we stop naming things and wrestling to understand them and fit them in our concepts, then we can stop being attached to our wants. I say that advisedly because wanting is not bad. Attaching to our wanting can be problematic. When we stop attaching to our wanting, then even before saying the world is suffering, comes Claire's teaching. So you're teaching Claire. Yes. Yeah. So we have this. I can tell you that I have done a lot of work as an activist, and it's not good, not bad. Like, I don't disavow it. I liked it when I was doing it. I don't do it right now. But I do think that sitting here, right, learning about staying there so that we can help without even saying helping, right, is a form of activism. Because it's the problem with how, that Judy knows this, I sometimes say, okay, Claire, since you're the expert, there's 5 mistakes in how may I help you. What are they?
How may I?
Yeah, hey, you. Yeah, fine. That was 4 mistakes, but how may I help you? Yeah. So the problems are the problems that are there that are I and you. But if you look carefully, you don't have to be in so-called enlightened or practice for 30 years to examine your experience closely for a second and just see that in this experience, you can't find I in you. It's just, especially not here, you can't find it. It's impossible. It's only thinking that says, you can find the thought of I and you, right? But you can't actually find I in you. It's like you can't find an experience, Charlie, like that, which is, if I say, what is this? I'm pushing it away. You can't find something to push away. There's nothing to push away, right? So once there, Judy and I were talking about this today. Judy likes not for me, right? And I said, well, what about not just for me? Because I like the not just for me because, well, whatever. Anyway, we talked about it, and then we just dropped it because who cares anyway? Because we're both talking about the same thing, so why argue about the words, right? But there is something about coming up here that well, let's say it feels nicer than not coming here. Yeah. The scent of paramitas, Zen Master Jokam Ken Kassel. He read somewhere, and I asked him since where, and he can't remember, but he said somewhere that he heard the expression, the scent of the paramitas, like in a bodhisattva, the scent of the paramitas arrive, right? Which means the scent of the paramitas arrive means like it's in the air all around the bodhisattva, right? Which doesn't mean the bodhisattva, to me, right? It doesn't mean just that the bodhisattva is doing it. It means it pervades everything. That means, a Mahayana teaching is, when I see you as Buddha, I become Buddha, right? So all of a sudden, when I can find myself acting with generosity, with patience, with absorption, with resilience, I'm very bad at remembering lists, but you get my drift, right? The world itself begins to act that way. Okay, 3 minutes. in therapy and coaching, we call it the doorknob technique. Like, you know, like when you're leaving the therapist's office and you say, by the way, did I tell you I'm getting divorced? It's called the doorknob technique. I'll say this then. Go.
What's been most helpful for you when your mind tells you things aren't right, things aren't enough, this sucks? What's been most helpful for you?
There are two levels. I'm going to give you two levels of answer. Like I said to Jennifer before, sometimes thinking is so strong that thinking needs thinking medicine. Like sometimes I can't cut the thinking, right? I can't see through the thinking. So sometimes, like I think about the stories and that I construct is like a haunted house, right? So the stories are the ghosts, right? And sometimes stories are pretty transparent. I can see through them. I can see right through them, right? Sometimes they're opaque and they seem real, right? At a certain stage, they feel so opaque that you start. Well, by the way, it's a haunted house with lots of china in it, right? So sometimes they seem so real that I start swinging my stick around, right? And it goes right through the ghost because they're ghost and hits and breaks the china. That's suffering caused by delusion, by being attached to our delusion, right? So then when the ghost is, when at least I'm willing to say there's a ghost here, you know, even if I can't see through it, then thinking medicine. So, you know, lots of thinking medicines are available. One I gave to Jennifer was like, everything sucks, so you just look for everything that's good. You know, gratitude lists, all those kinds of things actually work. Research even shows they work, you know. I'll tell you this story. This story is further evidence of my brain tumor, but which I don't have, but I keep saying it. But the other Monday I woke up and I just had this feeling of uselessness. It was really uncomfortable feeling of uselessness. Monday, it's also Monday morning, like Monday morning. Who's not useless on Monday morning? So I just decided, I live in Long Island, and I decided to go into the village, and I was just kind of, I think I'll just go into the village and help people. So I was there, I got out of my car. Right as soon as I got out of my car, a guy pulls up in a Jeep and he says to me, hi. I say, hey, what's up? And I don't know the guy, but I'm like, hey, what's up? He says, well, I'm just taking some packages into the FedEx store. So I said to him, well, listen, I woke up feeling useless today and I would like to feel useful. So if you don't mind, could I help you carry your packages? So he's like, okay. So we go in the FedEx store, and he's got like 3 packages and I've got 1, and the guy in the FedEx store says to me, can I help you? And I said, no, I just came to town because I felt useless, and this guy needed some help, so I helped him because it's going to help me feel less useless. So the FedEx guy goes, oh, thanks, we really appreciate that. I'm like, you're welcome. So anyway, I went to different shops, and I went into Louis Vuitton. and I, you know, I went and looked around, and so the woman says to me, can I help you? And I said, well, in point of fact, I was wondering if I could help you. And she's like, oh. And I say, yeah, I woke up in a bad mood this morning. And I thought to myself, I'll get myself in a better mood if I just can help some people. So what can I do for you? And she said, well, I don't know. I said, well, I'll tell you what's hard for you these days? And she said, well, I'm having trouble with trust. Like so I said to her, listen, trust is fine, whatever, trust, don't trust. What's the next right action? And she told me. I said, don't worry about trust, just do that. She goes, you're an amazing person. Anyway, I went home and I felt better. So anyway, so first of all, there's lots of things that we can do to sometimes our energy is not good for ourselves and the people around us, and we need to shift it, right? By whatever means we can find. You could go for a run, right? What's your name, by the way? I see you all the time, and I'm sorry, I forgot. Wenda? Thanks, Wenda. Yeah. You have a very nice face too, by the way. I see it on Zoom sometimes. That's our Wenda with a nice face. And yeah, and just to be clear, so do I. But anyway, so we shift our energy, right? Find ways to, and one, in our school we always say quantum boso, or you can, if quantum boso gets boring, and then you can do the Great Dharani, right? Which then you have bigger problems than whatever's happening in your life, because you're like, frig, I can't get through the whole Great Dharani without getting distracted and get frustrated with yourself, and now that's a real problem. So let's change your energy, right? But the other thing is, the real root thing, like change my energy enough so that I can do this, right? The world sucks, I don't feel good about the world, blah, blah, blah. What is this? Right? So if my energy is really off, that practice won't, it's not helpful. But if I can, most times, this practice, what is this? Right? Like, what is it? Well, there's lots of things that can come. Oh, this is what it's like to be you. Oh, I understand you better now. Like, I can really help you now. Right? Or what I said before, it's just an uncomfortable feeling in my solar plexus that I'm trying to get rid of with a lot of thinking. And by the way, a lot of thinking doesn't get rid of uncomfortable feelings in your solar plexus. Right? So what is it? Right? So when we start to really look, that means you're in the haunted house with the ghost. So what is this ghost? Right? Whatever, it doesn't mean that it goes away, it just means it goes, it's just a ghost. It's just, which means, that's even before that, it just means it's just what it is. And I don't have to add a value to it. I don't have to count it as good or count it as bad. Okay? Okay, 3 minutes over. Not bad considering it was me.
I need people to help put the room back